Welcome to the Alrasta channel, where episode 62 will focus on the Swallow Star series. At the start of the episode, we see the discovery of 8 wood crystals, which is the most number of wood crystals discovered in exploration on Misty Island, where the 8 crystals were discovered simultaneously by Luo Feng and HR Alliance. Te used bait with the warriors around him to figure out Luo Feng's attack pattern. He also realized that the bit of action shown earlier was not the ultimate attack that Luo Feng used to finish off Li Yao in the previous incident. In fact, this man is very smart and famous for the cunning methods that he has often used in a battle and opened Luo Feng to face strong and cunning opponents like him. Even Te is predicted to be the #1 mental master. Before the fight between the 2 mental master warriors began, the Indian Lion King appeared on the scene of the crime after smelling the odors coming from 8 wood crystals embedded in a boulder, but he also saw there the other 2 parties who turned out to be fighting for the sake of getting the crystals, because they didn't want to get involved in the conflict that occurred, and the Lion King also stated that he would not participate, given that the Indian Vatican side is the weakest of various other parties. During the fight, Te used his mental strength to stop Luo Feng's movements, which were then followed by flying weapon attacks directed straight at him, and the combat commenced. This is the point at which the occurrence begins. The violent struggle between the 2 mental strength users heated up, and they instantly clashed against one another's flying weapons, in contrast to Luo Feng's flying weapons, which were in the form of blades that appeared very basic, in contrast to Te's flying weapons. The more current Te looks like a little rocket with a sharp front side to breach the opponent's protection. The flying weapon also has a better penetration strength than Luo Feng's flying knife, as seen when Luo Feng's flying knife was easily driven back by Te's flying weapon. Luo Feng, realizing that the abilities of each weapon, his flying knife, would not be able to break through the opponent's defense, intended to use another attack method while constantly dodging every single one of Te's weapons. He then tried to use his mental control abilities by moving a giant donut-sized rubble object. But Te also used the same method as Luo Feng, resulting in a violent clash. However, due to the confrontations that erupted, Luo Feng was unable to maintain control of the situation. Te's mental strength was 1 degree higher than his, so much so that Luo Feng had to be thrown against the stone walls since there was no other way to defeat him. Te in a mental strength battle. Finally, Luo Feng had to unleash the ultimate skill that the opponent lacked, which was his special ability Ultimate Drill. As Luo Feng's skill approached Te, the attack pushed him back and he had to use the explosive power in his legs to stop Luo Feng's advance from this attack. He realized that this attack had finished off Li Yao in 1 strike. In that scenario, it turned out that Te had played a clever ploy, which is when Elder Far arrived and launched an unexpected attack on Luo Feng. Covertly present Elder Far wanted to see if Luo Feng could escape in such an awful situation because he remembered Luo Feng being good at escaping during their first encounter incident, and of course Elder Far had a grudge against Luo Feng, which was why he was too hot to avenge him right now. With the appearance of this woman, Luo Feng was now at a numerical disadvantage. And to make matters worse, another person with a grudge towards Luo Feng emerged at the same time, and that was the 3rd Elder Mo Henderson. When Mo Henderson arrived at the scene of the incident, he immediately turned his gaze to Luo Feng, completely ignoring the wood crystal and focusing more on carrying out his revenge. But before he could launch his attack, Te invited Mo Henderson to collaborate, because he, like Mo Henderson, believes that Te will not be able to finish off Luo Feng, who possesses an ultimate skill that even the Black God armor will not be able to completely defy. Te is extremely intelligent since he can easily identify Luo Feng's weak points in just one fight. He also pledged to divide the crystal income found here equally among the Americans and possibly join forces. Te believed that he would also be able to board Luo Feng's Heaven Forbid shuttle, which the mental warriors so greatly desired. In an impossible circumstance, Luo Feng chose to run, but this was no longer an option because the elders would not let him get away with it. Te and Mo Henderson and his troops had now approached Luo Feng from numerous directions after he had been kept busy by Elder Far without realizing it, and this epic solo versus squad combat occurred. After receiving the series of assaults aimed at him, Luo Feng's movement came to a halt when Mo Henderson fired an ice fist, causing Luo Feng's body to freeze inside the ice pillar as well. As for Te's execution attack, which released all of his flying weapons towards Luo Feng. With strong penetration from each of those flying weapons, Luo Feng would be destroyed after the attack landed on the ice pillar that locked it, while Luo Feng could still control his flying blades with all his might. He also tried to escape by making thin slices on the surface of the ice pillar, but the way he did it didn't produce enough results. But just as Luo Feng was being driven from the ceiling, someone came and fell hard, parrying Te's attack and pounding the ground so strongly that Te's flying weapon was blown away, sparing Luo Feng from the brink of death. But Luo Feng was taken aback. Who was the figure who had just appeared and promptly aided him? The figure of the Predator in the film The Predator can be seen in the smoke that was spreading in Te. He air and slowly starting to disappear. This figure that makes the opponent even more depressed says that his presence is to help Luo Feng in his battle. This time, the hefty figure in black god armor was Yi Shou, one of Hong's 3 top bodyguards dubbed Beast. It is believed that Hong recognized him as a very strong fighter in close-range fighting, including his attack range of within 100 meters, and that no one in the world can equal his strength. With the beginning of the blows from Te and Mo Henderson, the fight finally returned. Their motions combined simultaneously targeted fists at Yi Shou, but despite having to take hits from the third and fourth eldest's punches, Yi Shou didn't seem to have any trouble holding it off. In reality, though, Luo Feng, who was standing behind him, was the target rather than him. Suddenly, an ice wall erupted and saved Luo Feng, while the 2 seniors who attacked him were pushed back by an attack of ice chunks that appeared and attacked them. And it was here that Luo Feng ran into Bing Shan and Yao Rao, who quickly defended him. Then Te scoffed that Luo Feng was Hong, and that Hong valued Luo Feng's life as a member of his side, lowering his 3 bodyguards when pressed. With the presence of Hong's 3 bodyguards, Luo Feng stood up and prepared to face the enemy in front of him, whereas Henderson was not afraid of the increasing number of enemies as long as Hong was not by their side. And Mo Henderson would not stop fighting until his revenge was complete as he vibrated around the battle area and turned the surface into ice. Furthermore, even though 3 of Hong's bodyguards had emerged, the opponent's number of fighters still dominated, and for the time being, they would focus on battling Luo Feng and the others, while the wood crystal would be stolen after the battle finished. In this situation, Luo Feng could say that the European side formed an alliance with the American side to deal with the Hanxia or China, while the Indian Vatican side remained neutral until now, but if they join the enemy alliance, the Hanxia country will lose the opportunity to obtain crystals wood from Misty Island. Aside from that, he believes the situation is still not in his favor because the number of opponents is still overwhelming, which is why Luo Feng will create an opening for him to flee the situation. To create a scene, Luo Feng flung his flying knife at Yi Site in a hurry. However, Yi Site instantly took control of Luo Feng's flying knife and turned it in his direction. What Luo Feng did was viewed as a serious error, and it also demonstrated that he and the others were unable to flee the encirclement. The warriors present during the occurrence chuckled at Luo Feng's current state of helplessness. All of their assumptions turned out to be incorrect, however, and it was all just a distraction. Luo Feng, who had set up a flying knife on the ceiling, cut the ice cubes above with a very large size in order to create a mess. The three Hong guards took advantage of the opportunity to flee and headed in the direction in which Luo Feng had simultaneously thrown the 8 wood crystals by sneaking towards them in each of the 3 opposite directions. Luo Feng rushed to 3 different locations where he scattered the crystals. Accompanied by Hong's 3 top bodyguards. Mo Henderson almost hit Luo Feng, but he escaped by digging a hole. When Elder Far saw Luo Feng's group heading for the wood crystal, he planned to move alone to catch up with them. But Yi Site stopped him because he realized that if they went alone, Luo Feng, who was hiding, would finish them off one by one, which is why they went together. To avoid this incident, they must maintain their alliance and divide the group into 3 teams of several fighters to avoid being caught by Luo Feng's tricks. After a while, we will be told about the current situation in which the HR alliance is chasing. Yao Rao is heading north, and the European side is heading east to chase Yi Shou, while the 4 wood crystals are in the south being chased by the Americans who are still trying to catch up. Following Bing Shan, but there is a difficulty in the Yi Site group, which appears to be invisible among the 3 groups. In course, the Yi Site already has a devious approach that he will launch later. Aside from that, Yao Rao suggested that they separate the opponents if they wanted to fight them, but if that was not possible, they had to fight the enemy together. Meanwhile, Luo Feng had turned south. He and Bing Shan would work together to overthrow the Americans. However, after discovering that there are 2 crystal locations in different directions, one of which is directly in front of him and 3 others in the opposite direction, Bing Shan has a safe solution and wants to be bait, bringing 1 crystal and letting Mo Henderson chase it, while Luo Feng goes to the location of the remaining 3 crystals. And that's the talk from Swallow Star episode 62. This time it's extremely exciting. Just wait for the continuation of the new video that we can view again another day, so patiently wait. First and foremost, friends, please remember to subscribe and like. Goodbye.